At the terrorist attack in Tunis today, and we just saw people out on the streets there in central Tunis holding flags, weeping, very upset and shocked at this attack, saying that their country is free and they will get past this. On social media as well, people have been expressing their condolences, haven't they?
That's right. We'll just start with a couple of those expressions of condolences on Twitter. Tunisia was long an oasis of peace, says Stephen Greenhouse, in the Middle East. Today's massacre of 19 people in Tunis is shocking and shattering, he says, sharing a New York Times article on the events. I have great sympathy for Tunisia, says another tweet. The freest country of the Muslim world. Condolences for its losses today at the hands of vile terrorists. Now, we also have images on Instagram. Laura, this text here in Arabic says, "Oh, country of jasmine, when will your suffering end?" That's an image taken in central Tunis, the person there with the Tunisian flag over his shoulders. Here again, the Tunisian flag with the spectre of death, I suppose, and somebody here quipping about the solar eclipse that is predicted for the day after tomorrow, and I suppose it's death eclipsing the flag there in Tunisia. You also have images as well.
And just a moment, James, some news just coming into us. 6 French nationals were injured in that attack, and we're hearing from the Quai d'Orsay, the Foreign Ministry, that at least 3 of them very seriously injured. So we will, of course, be hoping that they get a speedy recovery too. It's quite reminiscent, isn't it, of what we saw in the wake of the Paris attacks, people spontaneously going out onto the streets and creating images and signs to try and express how they feel at a time of shock.
That's right, in defiance, I suppose, of the terror that is behind the sentiment of trying to instill terror, which is, I suppose, the aim of an attack like this. You can see here spontaneous displays of support on front of the site of that attack. That tweet there from Le Monde's, one of Le Monde's Twitter pages, a spontaneous demonstration on front of Bardo Museum to condemn the terrorist attack. And you can see a lot of images such as that across social media, Laura. Now, this particular banner here that is being shown or that is being held aloft on front of the museum has a pretty clear message: no to the human rights of terrorists. Now, in fact, the two individuals behind that were shot by the police, and I think that is a poster that would seem to say we shouldn't show any mercy to people who do this sort of thing. I suppose human rights.
Well, it was a hostage situation as well.
That's right.
Let's not forget.
That's right.
This is interesting as well because, as I say, it was a hostage situation that went on for several hours. A very delicate police operation to free the people inside the museum. Some criticism, though, that the media coverage of the attack was actually getting in the way of that.
That's right. Now, we
operation.
saw this as well after the Paris attacks, and I'll just try to find one of the tweets in relation to that. You have people saying essentially that BFM television, but I suppose they wouldn't be the only ones who are covering this live. That's a French news channel that broadcasts a lot in North Africa as well. Stop giving news which could cause the situation to degenerate at Bardo. Have you not learned any lessons? And they're talking there about the Hyper Cacher. That was the Cacher supermarket at the Porte de Vincennes, where the news coverage of events as they unfolded was criticised later on for interfering with the police operation. We're seeing this a lot at the moment.
Because the terrorists inside could see on TV or on the mobile phone, indeed, exactly where the police were and where they were preparing to
So it is something, I suppose, that is a difficult one for news organisations who are trying to cover events as they're unfolding.
And it's not even just traditional journalists, is it? This is just people with their mobile phones uploading stuff onto the internet.
That's right. That's
right.
So
that's what things are like these days.
It's a tough one. Now, slogans, Laura, I'll just show you a couple of slogans as well that we're seeing coming up on social media. You're seeing a lot of this in the aftermath of any such tragedy. Hashtag Pray for Tunisia. That is, of course, the Tunisian flag, which is normally in red, which has been changed to black, I suppose, for mourning. Je suis Bardo, that Je suis a slogan that has been coming back since the Paris attacks, when one of the most shared hashtags in the history of social media was Je suis Charlie, I am Charlie, in the aftermath of the Charlie Hebdo attacks. That's a sign, of course, of solidarity with the victims and support. So you can see that 19 innocent people, indeed that figure has been revised upward, killed. What has happened to the world, and some of the hashtags that are being used there. Some others as well are Pray for Tunisia, Stop Terrorism, Je suis Tunisien. And this is an image that has been drawn by the cartoonist Baudry, and that shows one of the artworks at the museum. And you can see here that it has been given a sort of a slightly macabre twist to reflect
this museum. I understand is home to one of the, I think, the world's biggest Roman mosaic.
There you
So
go.
it does have a lot of
that is
historical
probably indeed
artefacts.
one of those artifacts, Laura.
And what about the? Sorry, you.
Well, just one more before we move on. This is actually this is apparently a Tunisian proverb that has been sketched by one social media user and photographed and put up online. Cruelty is the strength of cowards. So clearly that is a disavowal of any such act of terrorism as not displaying any strength at all, but actually a form of cowardice.
Absolutely. Shooting unarmed people in a museum, you can't get more cowardly than that. Finally, some of the politicians, of course, coming out with strong messages today. We've seen France showing complete solidarity with Tunisia. President Hollande saying, this touches us too. This happened in Paris just a couple of months ago.
That's right. The French president was very quick to take to social media this afternoon, Laura, and this is the tweet that has been shared considerably. I express the solidarity of France with Tunisia. Every time a terrorist crime is committed, wherever it happens, it concerns us all, said the French president on social media. The head of the opposition, Nicolas Sarkozy, also took to social media. All of France, it stands at all sides of Tunisia, its authorities and its people during this struggle, said the former French president and the leader of the opposition.
All right, James, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, Laura.
James Creedon there with Media Watch. Well, moving on, it's time for our Focus Report, and tonight we're in Thailand, a country still under military rule after the army seized power a year ago. The former Prime Minister is facing criminal